I hope the go live button works this time. 'Cause sometimes it doesn't work, and I don't know. Oh wait, I gotta connect YouTube. Oh no, not connecting YouTube. Me going on Blue Sky, the website I despise, to make a social post. It's over. It's so Jover gamers. I think that's the link. It's like the struggles I go through. Hello, this is the stream. Oh, it's Paris. Hello. Okay, I've done my work. I've told the people. The streets have been alerted. Who's DMing me? Oh, hey F. What do you mean bully me? I watched your stream. You know I had your stream on for the entire time you were playing. Just on the side, I was writing. I was writing this. This is gonna sound really weird, funny, nerdy, I guess. Yeah, I've been. It's complicated. I'll explain at some point. But F, I was writing this assignment on networking and like network programming and ports. I was just doing it. And while I was working on that, I was listening to your entire stream. Yeah, I had it on the whole time. It was on all day on my computer. It was on all day. Great job with the makeup. Looked great. Uh, yeah, I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. Also, you say it was an 8 hour stream, but everyone needs to know that 2 of those 8 hours were character design. I don't know why you can't send messages in the YouTube chat. You're a mod on YouTube. I have no idea. Like you ask me questions I do not understand. I'm sorry I haven't streamed in a while. I've been really sick. That's a lie. I've been really busy and sick. It's a complicated thing. Um, I've got very busy very quickly, and a lot of things had to adjust very quickly. Um, so I just kind of had to let this go for a bit. But I'm back, and we have a lot to talk about. I have like so many tabs. I have so many conversations to relay to you, um, like conversations with me and other people, and with me and other people involving like other products. And I just kind of want to kind of do a full roundup, and hopefully we can go from there. Unfortunately, I am being visited right now, so I can't be too loud. Um, but just want everyone make sure everyone knows what's up and etc. etc. Hey everyone. Um, oh, actually, you know what? I think it'd be fun to talk about this for a second, guys. I found something. You paused your Sarah Anderson. There's a Sarah Anderson interview. One second. Is this about the lawsuit? Is someone interviewing her about the lawsuit? Because that'd be very interesting. That'd be highly interesting. Oh, oh, that's so boring then. Like Sarah's nice. Oh, I mean, Sarah's rise in career is like pretty obvious. So I don't understand why. I don't, there's nothing to learn. Like it was very public. It was very obvious. She was very capable. She was very smart about it. I'm so confused what there is to learn. But I'm talking from a very privileged perspective. Like I've been on this for too long. I guess like for me, it just doesn't compute the same way. Hopefully. Oh, by the way, audio. Are we good audio? Audio check check. Audio check check. Um, yeah, no, Sarah is like I don't. You know what's funny? As much as I really like Sarah, I don't find her career fascinating. I just find her interesting, like normal, right? Like I find her interesting, like I find every creator interesting, but I don't find her career fascinating. You know whose career I do find fascinating though is the Turtle Me guy, the guy who ended up making the beginning after the end, because his career is their career. I'm not sure, but the career of Turtle Me, I find that right now probably one of the more fascinating things in comics. Um, like not even Rachel Smythe is close. And yeah, you say it's Smythe. I found out the hard way that it is said Smythe. I I cannot explain to you what I've been through to find out this information. It's been rough. It is Rachel Smythe. Oh, people have been saying Smith, like Smith, but like the other way. It's Smythe, not Smith. I've never heard her say it. No, it's actually Smythe, my guy. I'm sorry. For it's Rachel Smythe. They've all been saying Smith. We've all been saying Smith. I walk up people say Smith. I hear Smith. I know, bros. No kids. It's we live in the real world. That's what I have to say to you. Her name is Rachel Smythe, and her comic isn't actually called Lore Olympus. It's called Lore Olympus. Yeah, you guys just weren't paying attention. Lore Olympus is a very complicated story. Okay, that last one is 100% a lie. It's not that. I'm sorry. um, Lore Olympus. Olympus is crazy. Still wanted just on in person when I was chatting with Snow Lord. She walked right past me. You should have just done it. Just dump him. Actually, no, I think Aiden would mind. I think Aiden would mind. I'm like the worst person to be around when it comes to that stuff because I would just leave you. Like I wouldn't do it immediately because I would probably I'll wait till I exhaust what I need from you, but then I will just walk away. Ask 40 Fingers went to MCM with me. He's in chat. And like sometimes I would just wander away from him to something more interesting. It just is a really bad habit because I'm so like information coded. We were there to have fun. It was supposed to be my first Comic Con where I just had fun. And you know what I did? I worked. Like I worked. I was there to have fun. I went to on two separate days and I worked on both of those days. It's it's so Jover for me, gamers. Oh, Ingrid's pretty fun, I've heard. Okay, so we got a lot to talk about. just a ton of stuff to get through. Um, also, there's like some random information I've learned through the grapevine, and I can't tell you, but I can say that like if you had certain expectations of the coming animations in this year from the webtoon space, you should temper those expectations. I think you should temper those expectations. That's all I have to say on that. I shouldn't tell you if I can't tell you. I mean, no, it's funnier if I like tease you with the information, but don't give it to you. Like, what is the worst animation studio known to man? Like, I feel like it has to be like it has to be the animation studio behind the facial animations in God, what's that game? What's that um Rockstar game about being a cop? I forgot. Oh my god. No, 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 no. LA Noir. LA Noir. Because if you didn't know this, all the facial animation in LA Noir, the game, um, was done by one person. But done by one person. He was a games animation graduate, fresh out of university. He had never worked with facial recognition or any of that stuff that they were working on for the game, and that was his first time ever working in the games industry. This was in Australia, and it was his first time ever working in the games industry. And he basically crunched, and I mean like super crunch. Like he slept in the office a lot every day for about 8 months, and the game looks terrible. Every other newbie that joined when he joined quit within weeks, and he basically became a senior staff member in that 8 months. Yeah, I just think that's a really funny story. That's it. They make so many other games. Because this you probably watched the like 2 hour long documentary. It's really funny. Um Funny in like a me way, not funny in like a funny haha way. By the way, I fully transitioned to Blue Sky. Okay. And I thought it'd be fun to talk about this. Let's talk about this first. Um what's the GitHub? I'm having like so much pain trying to find a GitHub repo that I haven't opened in. Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. I thought it'd be fun to start with talking about this. Oh no, I'm still a Twitter DJ and I still open it. But it's really funny. I've been logged out of Twitter so long, my phone logged me out. That's how bad it's been. That's how upset I am. Anyway, I want to talk about this project. I think this is a great starting point because I think social media is really important to our industry. And a lot of us want to move to Blue Sky, Mastodon, all those other things. And I wanted to bring this up because this is Tuito Mamut. It's a synchronization software. But here's what's cool about it: it doesn't just like repost all your tweets. It can repost and in some cases backdate your posts on other platforms. Is it an AI image? Yes, it's an AI image, but ignore that. It can repost and backdate your posts on Blue Sky and Mastodon. So you can basically just replicate your timeline with all of the information. I'm upset about the AI image as well, but it's none of us are giving this person free art. And so, like, look, they gave us free work. I just have to get over it. Okay? It's really cool. But if you don't want to backdate, you can just repost everything. And you can run this locally on your computer if you want to, or run it on a server, and it will regularly like check your Twitter profile and make sure it matches up with your Blue Sky. I think you can do vice versa, but Twitter is kind of hard to work with now, so I don't know if that always works. I'm thinking of setting up a server to do this for a few people one time, but I'm still in the thought process. I don't know if I want to do the actual legwork for it. Um, but I did it on my computer. I actually set it up. I got it working. It can refresh as much as you want, and I'll probably put out like a really quick video at some point on the Discord only as how to use it and how to get yourself set up and actually like get things going forward. So you can just run it on your computer once, get your entire profile imported. I will say if you have videos on your Twitter profile, it cannot import those as of right now. It can only do image tweets. So it can't import your videos, tweets containing any video. Like it can, I think it can do GIFs, but it can't do like actual videos. So be aware. But it can do image reposting, and again, it can make it like new tweets. It can post it like they're all brand new tweets for you. It can post them like they're old tweets, like they're just backdated, and your account will have that. If you want an example of that, this is my blue sky. I ran it, and look, it says like some of these posts are a month ago. Not this one, sorry. And you just scroll down a little further to find the ones that it's synced up. Um, but it's saying like some of these posts that I never posted on here are like a month ago. When really they're like where they're like all brand new. They're all from this. So that's something to consider. Ugh, blue sky notifications. Gross. Anyway, back to what I wanted to get to. That's all about the news. You want to talk about the news? Let's talk about the news. Um, News thing number one. Okay. Anyway, so the stock is doing badly. Literally right here, this day when it literally halves in price, right? This is the stock. This is the second quarter report. The one I live tweeted from a plane. I'm laughing. I bought it. Yeah, but I didn't care. I bought it for work purposes. Like I literally like did we not see this coming? It's complicated, Tate. Like in some parts we did see this coming because we knew that people would either undervalue the company in some way, but we should also remember the fact that like um, this valuation problem is coming at a really weird time for them. So this is the next piece of news I wanted to cover. It's kind of in the simultaneous news space. So they're in like Webtoon in Korea is in the middle of a labor dispute. And unlike other such moments when this has happened, this has happened before. There have been Webtoon labor disputes. I've talked about them in previous podcasts. But unlike the other ones that occur and then like have happened to Naver Corp, this massive machine that handled Webtoon and search and their own version of YouTube and their own social media platform and their own like stock, like a whole bunch of stuff, right? Their own News Corp. Unlike that, unlike that, this labor dispute is hitting them hard, like very hard, right? Because now it's all Webtoon's problem to deal with. The last time this happened, the government actually had to make a bunch of policies that allowed Webtoon creators quite of an interesting deal. If you don't know this, in Korea, a Webtoon creator can take a hiatus at any point in their Webtoon contract and come back whenever they want. So they can take a 1 year hiatus and come back, and the contract will still be live, it seems, from what I understand. It will still be a live contract. And they can't like Webtoon can't cancel you can't like cancel your thing just because you went on hiatus. And it's because they need hiatus for mental health and recouping and recovery, etc. So creators can go for on hiatuses as long as they need, pretty much. I think it's up to eight. No, I think it's up to 8 months or something like that. But they can go for as long as they want. Usually, the number like they're not. Most people aren't going on like 2 year hiatuses. Um, I think it's really interesting because a lot of the upset this is so but this that labor dispute I was talking about was for creators. This labor dispute is the union of the people that work in Webtoon. These are like the actual employees. And a lot of the anger comes from something that I talked about earlier this year. Remember when I said that JK, the CEO of Webtoon, got $30 million in cash? By the way, they're saying cash and stock options. He got $30 million in cash, and then he got stock options. It wasn't like a mix of both. He got a 30 million cash prize for The Price is Right, and then he got stock options. I'm sorry. It's dawning on me a little bit because for context, if he got that as like income tax in the U.S., right, he would be paying 20% of that, and in the UK, he'd be paying like 25. No, he'd be paying like 50% of that, right? So he'd be paying anywhere between. He'd be paying anywhere between. I thought the cash was because he didn't want the stock. That's what people are mad about. His employees. Um, it's like a bit of that, but the thing is, the cash that he got given, it's one of those like it doesn't matter why he got the cash, right? What matters is that he got the cash. That's it. Like they just let him take. They gave him a large amount of money because yes, the employees are in part upset because he was allowed to take cash because he didn't want stock, and they should have been allowed to do the same thing at the crazy good price that the stock was at because then they would have been able to rebuy shares at the lower prices if they wanted to, or just had the money. But instead, they got given a bunch of stock that has lost the value, lost more than half its value. Right? That's part of the upsetty, but we need to also remember that like it's also the optics of just giving a guy $30 million. Like that's really bad. It was really bad optics to investors. Like I want you to understand. I was talking to a law firm in California that's part of the suit for the Webtoon lawsuit. Which, by the way, um, the Webtoon investor lawsuit. We're gonna see progress on it. Today's the second, right? On Tuesday, we're going to see the first signs of progress. I'm going to be calling my contact in California, and then I'm going to be figuring out how this is all going to go down and try and get in contact with the actual law firm that pushes everything forward. Um, but essentially, like even those investors, one of their main complaints was that JK got $30 million. They didn't care why he got it. The complaint was the optics of him getting that much money was terrible. Um, Also, saying JK doesn't believe in the company is kind of complicated because I think he believes in the company about as much as most Korean CEOs do. Look, I think he just like it's his baby. The company is his baby. I think it's really weird that they would have that perspective because he basically started the entire company and he's run it the entire time and he's never left. And for context, 10 years is an average CEO lifespan. Like 10 years is a pretty typical CEO lifespan. Most of them leave before then. They get one big stock drop at like a big financial turn for the company and they leave. Yeah, no, I'm not denying what you're saying. People do think he doesn't believe in the company. I'm just saying that it's a bad take. I'm not saying that people don't think that, Kylie. But the thing you're bringing up about the getting the cash for the stock, it's just a bad optics thing. That was really the main. That to me is the main problem there. Um, like that's really the main issue, especially because he basically got to get this money in stock. He got to like keep it he get this money instead of stock, got to keep the money as the stock tanked and then rebought share. So he now has like let's say the shares they were gonna give him were gonna benefit him like double. Let's say the price doubled, right? He basically got to let's say the price doubled from now, like anytime from now. He will make $60 million. He will be able to turn 30 million into 60 million, which is nuts. Which is nuts. And it also kind of makes people feel this is a lot of stock things about how people feel. It makes people feel like it's organized, like they knew they weren't gonna hit their quarter two expectations of I think it was 340 million. They only made 320 million. So they knew they weren't going to hit their quarter two expectations, and they were $20 million off. Um, and it makes people feel that that's true. Because again, you need to understand this is all happening, right? All of this issue with Webtoon is happening simultaneously with the investors suing them because they believe that Webtoon is knowingly new acted in ways that knowingly negatively affected their investors and their shareholders. This is all happening with employees being upset because CEO doesn't feel like they don't feel the CEO actually believes in the company, but also the CEO basically got a large cash sum, and none of them were allowed to be able to cash out their shares like that as easily, you know, and that management that management has too much power. Like a big thing as from this as well, Kylie, is that management that people believe that management of Webtoon has way too much power. Like all the stock options, everything that they got paid was unilaterally decided by the top. There was no like communication with the employees. There was none of that. They just made a decision on their own and then took a bunch of money, which for a lot of investors I talked to is a bad look. It looks like you were just trying to figure out how to like plunder the company's bank account as 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 not obviously as you could, while also taking as much as possible. I know it's just me and you having a conversation, but that is what the thing is. And then the other thing that Adora Burp said, which is if Webtoon keeps going this route, Nen could end up buying out the company. That would be really funny. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be so honest with you. If I could, I would. If even if it was worthless, right? Even if it was completely worthless, I would buy the name. I would buy the name for just cause, just cause. Like, for people who don't know this, my big thing that I want right now. If you've watched any of the Webtoon like videos on TikTok and stuff, um, if you've watched any of that, you've seen that their representatives always wear like a Webtoon head, I think it's a plexi no, like it's like a plastic head shaped like the Webtoon logo. I want the head. I've literally you do not know how much I have done to acquire the Webtoon head. You don't know who I've spoken to. You don't know how often I have talked to people with the intent of getting them to just send it to me. The only thing I haven't done is email my Webtoon contact. I've had to talk to literally every other employee there that isn't my main contact. Just because I want it. I'm not even gonna do anything bad with it. I'm not gonna like make videos with it or anything. That's a lie. I can't promise that. But I'm not gonna use it for the purposes of making a malicious video, right? Just to like mess with the company. I just want it for me. And yeah, I could 3D print it, but it's about getting it from the source, you know? Anyway, but no, like the company isn't being particularly run poorly. I should be honest with you. Um it just is. Okay. Can I let me be candid. I don't think Webtoon is being particularly run poorly. I just think Webtoon has had a lot of strikeouts. They haven't been able to push forward with the things that I believe that they were trying to get going by this quarter, next quarter of 2024. I think a certain amount of that stuff got canceled, and I think a certain amount of that stuff is still in in consideration and still in negotiation. And so even though technically they're in a really good spot, it looks terrible. It looks terrible to any investor. It looks terrible to the market. And the CEO, by taking that crazy amount of money, made the optics so bad that even if he legitimately believed in the company and legitimately believed in the employees and thought they would get through this issue, right? He's made it so that all the employees don't treat him like a person because to them, well, to them, the company is running itself poorly and firing people and liquidating jobs and then paying the CEO $30 million. Like that's it. Like Webtoon Wattpad Studio basically all like as far as I'm aware, a ton of people got fired from there all at once during the layoffs earlier this year, which were all to trim down the fat so the company could look better during the look better on its stock. Like they did that. Like they got in the meat guy, the impossible meat guy, David. Is one of the many Davids at the company. They got him in. He fired a bunch of people because he was COO. So he fired a bunch of people to trim fat, and then he, JK, and a few other people said, "Let's give each other like about $1 million each minimum." And I think that's terrible optics. Like it doesn't. None of the other information like almost matters. Like the reason why labor disputes like this happen is because management looks out of touch, acts out of touch, and the optics of management is terrible. Like I've worked in enough places that like are like that. It's kind of sad. Will they strike? I don't think so. Most people don't strike. Most strikes never happen, which is, if I'm honest, a bad thing. More people should strike. Even if you win the negotiation, still go on strike. I think we should just do that more. I think we should normalize going on strike even if we win negotiations. Because like people just don't go on strike enough. We don't do it enough. Like, just take like a day or two of the company's earnings. Like it's like winning a negotiation and then stabbing the guy in the arm a little bit. And just being like, remember, I can do worse than this. Like I think more people should do that. Um, that sounds insane. Sorry. But yeah, like it's interesting. If I went on strike, I'd be so fired. Yeah, because you need to go on strike with all of your coworkers. You can't go on strike alone. You can't go on strike alone. You need like at least like 6 locations to go on strike, and they need to all be owned by the same like guy. Like you work at a franchise. Like it's not easy for you to go on strike by design. Um, very unfortunate. Speaking of comic companies doing new things, let's talk about global comics for a bit. Let's talk about global comics for a bit. I think it's been a very interesting, NYCC period for them. Full disclosure, I knew this was coming up, um, but I before I left, I knew this was going to happen at some point. And by some point, I knew it was going to happen around now. But yeah, Global Comics is now working with DC. They're working with Valky Ray. They're working with some guy. Um, they're working with Valky Ray. uh, I can't even explain why that comic is there. Basically, when I was working there, I was doing a lot of content checking to make sure that it should be on the company on the platform, and so like you know stuff is just on my red list that I never actually wanted to read. Let me see if it's gone now. Okay, it's gone now. Thank God. Yeah, Rosie, what are you thinking? Um, but yeah, Global Comics working with DC. Global Comics is working. I did see the Duolingo webtoon. I did read the whole thing. I made a video about it actually. It just isn't out. Okay. Funny thing, I've made 6 videos this month. Last month, I've made 6 total videos. They're just sitting unpublished. It's very annoying, complicated set of reasons, but I have genuinely made content. People on Patreon know I've done it. They've seen like 3 of them. Patreon people have seen 3 of them. So like it is true. Uh, but yeah, no, like so Global Comics is working with DC. Global Comics is working with um, Dark Horse, I believe, and a few other people. I have some understanding of some of these deals, but I can't really talk about them because that was confidential employee information. But what I can talk about is what I think this all means. So I heard from a lot of people who went to not a lot of people, no, a lot of people, because I've spoken to about 6 different people who were at NYCC. I heard that Global Comics was there and they had a big booth and it was really big presence. Um, I was told that there wasn't a lot of people, but I was told that the whole DC thing was kind of announced there at the event or shortly after. I'm not sure which one. And I have like a lot of thoughts about this that may not be as positive as I want it to be. I don't really know how I feel about them working with DC. Like I really don't. I don't think it's like inherently bad or anything. I think at the end of the day, they're serving a market that has been left behind very strongly by the by the online comics industry. People who want to read traditional content definitely need a place to go do that. And while they do the reformatting, which some people like, um, this is like a bit of a me showing my hand a little bit. We've been working on me and the guys over at Webtoon Studio on my data app have been doing like a big collection of data from a lot of different platforms, and we found that the reformatted stuff on Webtoon just isn't actually doing as well as everything else. But we still need time to collect more data, so we'll see how that goes. Um, but like at the end of the day, like I think, how do I put it? I get why they made this move. I get what they're doing with it. I don't know how this makes the average creator feel, and so I guess I'm asking the chat. Chat, how does this make you feel? Like, and maybe you've published on Global Comics, maybe you haven't, but I want you to just think about it from like the perspective of a platform you're working with. Their two biggest announcements from the past like 2 or 3 months are them working with big publishers. How does that make you feel? Does that put you in a certain spot? How do the optics come across? Because I think the optics may not really work for some people. I think a lot of audience members are not going to like it. A lot of creators aren't going to like it. In fact, when I was at MCM, somebody straight up walked up to me, recognizing my voice, which that was scary as hell. People knowing what I sound like is the most terrifying thing to me. um, but someone walked up to me and they were talking to me about it, and um, they called it a departure. I don't really, I wouldn't use that word, but I wonder, what are your thoughts, guys? But like, how would you feel if Webtoon announced a big DC partnership, and it wasn't to like make new webtoons with DC, it was to like just put DC comics on Webtoon? As a creator, by the way, I think readers have like a lot of different reactions to this. I don't know if I cared that it's a big company, but it does seem to strafe. Oh, interesting. I don't know if I care that it's a big company, but it does seem to stray further away from vertical content, which is what I have there. Seems fine to me. Makes me kind of excited. Why does it make you excited? I want to know. Like, is it because your work gets to be next to bigger and bigger players? Is that what like draws you to it? Is it the Steam kind of thing? When your game is next to like your game is right next to like Call of Duty kind of thing. Like no one that reads DC is gonna read my vertical romance comic. True. I see your point. I don't agree fully, but I do see your point. I'm gonna be annoying and say, why doesn't DC make their own platform for their own comics? DC does have their own platform for their own comics. DC does have their own platform. It's not doing great, but it does exist. Marvel has one too. It's called Marvel Unlimited. I don't remember what DC's is called. Um, maybe, but I'm also I'm a fan of Lego Batman. Okay, I'm gonna leave the Lego Batman lover for shame. I'm so tired at this point. I couldn't care what Webtoon does at this point with their original side. F, can I ask you a genuine question, hon? Are you all right? Is everything okay? Like, what's making you feel so tired? Like, other than the grind, I guess. Like, is it just the grind? Because I respect it. I get where you're coming from, but like, it feels that felt like a more loaded sentence. In the true white person fashion, I shall say they should go back to their own website. That's a line. I'm just gonna leave that on there for shame. Nothing but Nightwing. DC is, yeah, I think DC is called Infinity Scroll or DC Go. I don't know. I had it on my Roku. I had a Roku for a very short period of time. It was on there with like it was. I only had it because I wanted to watch Doom Patrol. Ugh. They had their comic app on their TV. Crazy. I agree. I don't think anything Webtoon is doing right now is exciting. They have been very unexciting. I do understand why you don't find it exciting, but I also just think I don't think they've been doing anything exciting. Um, yeah. I mean, I don't, you know what's funny to me about about this whole Global Comics DC Dark Horse thing? I'm just gonna play my hand here. I am not a big pirater of traditional comics, right? Um, in fact, I'm gonna show you what I mean. I'm not a big pirater of traditional comics. I pay for almost every traditional comic I read. Pretty much. I pay for all of them. Even if I know I can steal them, I do pay for them, especially if I love them. But the thing with traditional comics for me is that this website exists. And I'm just gonna show it because at this point, I can't do more harm than this website already does. It's got a goddamn Discord, for God's sakes. But like Read Comic Online exists, and for context, Read Comic Online is so current, it's so easy to like get stuff on. Absolute Batman came out October 9th. Guys, I don't know what to say to you. Like I don't know what to. I'm not even trying to be. I'm not trying to be like that person. But it just came out October 9th. It's already on this platform. I think there's about 2 issues of Absolute Batman out. The second one will probably be out soon enough. It's not here yet, but it'll be out soon enough. Like you can just, and it's all of them. It's all of them. Like almost everything is on here. Look, they have Across the Morphin Grid, which I don't know if you've ever read. I've been reading, um, but it got published literally, literally 2 days ago. I've been reading it because I bought a copy. Like I don't know what to say. Like this is one of the reasons I don't really believe. I want to be upfront. This is not me trying to be like it's a bad or a useless thing to do, but it's one of the reasons I don't really believe in traditional comics as much. Um, because unlike webcomics, which gain an audience and then get stolen because they gain an audience, traditional comics get stolen even without a digital version existing. Like they just get stolen. Like say what you want to say about people pirating like your webcomic, they still take a few weeks to do it. You still got to have a few chapters out. You get an audience, and the best part is because it's all digital. Even if they steal your comic, if you play your cards right and talk to the right people, you can get all of your content, all of your promotion rerouted back to you, which can then prop up your money machine, right? Like the digital content has like that system that works, but like when it comes to physical stuff, I find it so hard to understand working with it because you know, you'd rather have people steal your comics so it gets out there. That's totally valid. But I think when it's digital, our costs are virtually non-existent. Like even if we paid every creator minimum wage for drawing their comic, just drawing their comic, it would be nowhere near releasing one issue of a regular comic. Most comic releases cost like 10 grand. Like because you need to pay the writers and the artists, you need to pay the cover artist 2 grand a grand, you need to pay for distribution and copies, you need to do make sure you've talked to like the stores you're going to sell at in case there's any specific thing you want to do with them. You need to do marketing, and you need to do paid marketing and regular marketing, like like and like using your social capital to market. Like it's just expensive, right? And so you spend 10 grand. Like, and again, then you remember, none of you spend anything for your comic. On average, maybe you spend $200. Frankly, let's even be cool. Let's say you spend $1,000 on your comic. If you have assistants, and you're like one of the people I know that pays their assistants way too much money, that's a lie. They pay them a fair wage. You know, you're paying maybe like 300 every. You're paying like maybe like you pay maybe like $4,000 or $5,000 for assistance across your entire comic, right? Fine. Somebody steals, but that's like hundreds of pages. This costs 10 grand. Like just this costs 10 grand. That's fair. I totally get all this stuff. I'm just saying, like, even when you do that, the costs are virtually non-existent because you make so much for the amount you spend. This one issue of how many pages? How many pages is this? 40 pages. 40 pages, about 5 to 7. Let's do 7 panels a page. That's 294 panels. I think most of you have drawn more than 294 panels. Let's even say 11 panels a page. Like, that's 464 panels. I think most of you have drawn more than 464 panels. And like, this comic cost 10 grand. This comic is 464 panels, right? Like, best case scenario. And like, it came out 3 days ago, and it's been stolen. It's been stolen. Why would I go? Like, this is the thing with me. And if you're wondering what we're talking about, Sim, I'm just gonna explain. I'm talking about like my issue with pay with when comic companies work with traditional media and they just bring the traditional media online. My issue is just these comics cost so much money. These traditional comics cost so much money, right? They have such high costs. Like, making an issue of a traditional comic costs like 10 grand, right? Because because it's a financial thing. It costs like 10 grand. And why would I ever pay to read it digitally when, after you spend that 10 grand, within less than 2 days, across the morphing, like, this comic came out 2 days, came out October 30th, came out the day before Halloween. It's already online, full quality. And you might be like, oh, but it's not going to be good quality. It's literally, it comes in 2 quality settings, my guy. 2 quality settings. The whole thing. I can read it right now. Oh, look, it was written by David Yost and illustrated by Patrick Mulholland. That's great. Ed Dukeshire lettered it. Awesome. I'm gonna just read it here. I don't like bringing this website up a lot because I think it's a bad place, and I don't like showing it to people because I think people should like not go here, and I want to be upfront about that. But at the same time, I have to be realistic about what the traditional comic book industry is facing. It's facing this, and like, you know, I have no problem. It's one thing if the people who are coming here because they're physical minded readers who just can't afford a physical copy but will buy one later. But if you start offering a lot of this IP digitally, and you start telling people to pay you digitally, and you start making a part of your business model as a comic company, the digital purchasing of your comic, why in God's name, why in God's name would I ever pay you? Even for physical, because you can't even buy Absolute Batman #1 right now, by the way. So why would I ever pay you? Like, if I'm a digital minded reader coming to read your digital content, not a physical minded reader doing this to save money, digital minded reader coming to read your digital content, and you're offering it on a digital platform for money, why in God's name would I ever give you my money? Also, are you saying bad place for piracy reasons? Yeah, bad place for the usual piracy reasons. That's it. Absolute Batman #1 sold out twice. It's on like its third reprint or fourth. I don't even know anymore. It's crazy. Also, I thought people pirated because it was too hard to read comics other places. People pirate for like two reasons in my mind. People pirate for a service thing. It's hard to get access to comic for a reasonable price, right? That's like reason #1. But people also just pirate because it's convenient. There's a conveniency factor to piracy, right? Like, there's a real conveniency factor. Like, you're right. If DC Comics puts the comics digitally and makes it easy to access, they can they can get some of those people who normally steal the comic, get them on here and be able to have people read them on Global Comics. That is a real thing that is going to happen, but that is for people who are maybe I think that only really works for people who are transitioning from physical to digital as like as like switching their focus of how I mainly want to consume content. But I think for digital minded content consumers, it's very hard to care about a comic that is available digitally for money and also for free. It's very hard to care. And I think the only way you get those readers to care is the thing that Webtoon and a lot of content platforms do, which is they get you to invest in the creator, right? Like Netflix used to do this. Netflix used to do this all the time. When Netflix came up, one of the big things Netflix used to market on is the people that they were empowering to create content. They were always like, look at this new TV show. You would never get this on broadcast. And that was a big thing. You would never, and I'll get back to that, but you would never get this on broadcast. Also, it was made by these guys, and they're so cool. You should see the next thing that they make. That was Netflix's whole model. It was content that was impossible to get anywhere else, at least for a period of time. Also, look at these guys; they're so cool. Like that was what they used to market on, and they still market on that a lot, right? And so when you're DC moving digital, or Marvel, or Dark Horse, or whatever you want to call yourself, moving digital, right? You want to be bringing new things to digital, new content to digital, and you want to market on the fact that there's a parasocial relationship to form there. Um, what happened with Netflix? When did they stop that? They never did. Netflix still does exactly what I just said. They do it all the time with a lot of content that they put out. Like One Piece was a huge one of them doing it. They kept like we know so much about the actors of One Piece and like Avatar, the TV show, because of like people like the Netflix execs just really pushing hard on the marketing on here's the cool people that made the thing that you're gonna like, and if you don't like it, it's okay because they're so cool. And also, you're never gonna get anything like this anywhere else. They still do that. What Netflix did though was by acting like that at the beginning, they managed to basically destroy piracy for video. Okay, let me like contextualize what piracy used to be for video and what it is now. Piracy for video used to look like this, like these kinds of websites. Look at this beautifully, whatever. Look at this well-made, good-looking website, organized, clean, everything. Right? Content is properly categorized, everything like that. That's what piracy used to be. Until very recently, piracy became this, and I'm not trying to hate on the Anime News Network website, but it became this: these shady looking websites, looking dodgy as hell, with weird ads. If I go to read comics online and I turn off my ad blocker, you will all see the most horrible things. You know, like, uh, but Netflix managed to get all these content sites for videos kind of to the point where they didn't need to exist, that people stopped making them, people stopped knowing how to make them, not knowing, but people stopped wanting to make them, and the ones that were left over looked terrible and had too many ads. And so people just kind of went to Netflix. And then Netflix there for a long time, lost a lot of money doing it, but did it. And then the moment they stopped doing it, why would I go anywhere else? My mom watches Netflix. Like she watches a lot of Netflix. She watches shows from our home country on Netflix because they're on there. And because even though there are free versions of the shows on YouTube, she still watches it on Netflix because in her mind, the de facto place to watch things on the TV now is Netflix. It's the TV box and Netflix. Like that's what Netflix did with that monopoly when they took away the power from the piracy guys. They used that power to basically make themselves the cornflakes, the name brand, right? One needs to be able to look into the abyss to even enter the gates of hell that is a modern day piracy. I agree. Piracy used to be cool, man. I used to be in a piracy group. I used to be in a piracy website group, and it was like it was a super. It was called like Super Torrent or something. I think that was the name back then. And Super Torrent was like God. Super Torrent was awesome. Like this was the mid 2010s, the early 2010s, right? And I'm talking like mobile friendly design in 2011. For all my web nerds out there, they all know that that was not common in 2011. 2011 mobile friendly design. It had a PlayStation version of the website. So if you opened it with the PlayStation 3 browser to go onto the website to watch stuff, it would reformat and like download to your and even allow you to download to your PlayStation's hard drive and then and it would like label the shows and everything, so you could go watch it on the PlayStation like you were just on Netflix like normal. It was awesome, right? Beautifully designed. Had like a whole membership thing where if you were a more active member who commented and talked and like was in the forums and also did some seeding of of torrents, you got like elevated status and got higher downloads. That's what torrenting used to be. Now there's like 5 websites like that, and everything else looks like this, like this, but with like more ads. You know, Netflix is TV to some people. But what I'm getting at with this is like Netflix did that by offering a value proposition of here's new content and here's cool people. You're gonna fall in love with these cool people, and you're gonna love the fact that this content is available nowhere else. Global Comics partnering with DC seems a little confusing to me because there's no new content, and all this content is available somewhere else, and not just on their website, right? Maybe it's not available on their website, but it's also available on the piracy sites. And just to prove that to me, let's just see something here. So this is the Batman Who Laughs 2018. Let's just see something. You know, maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe I'm totally wrong. Oh, no, I'm not. Oh, no. Oh, they even have the deluxe edition. Interesting. Oh, this is the exact same thing. Issues 1 to 7, or in trade, all 3 trade paperbacks. What does Global Comics have of this? I think this is 232 pages. So I have to assume it's the trade paperback, right? Oh no, so it's a little bit more. It might be like a compendium. Anyway, my point here isn't to be mad at Global Comics for partnering with DC, right? Because I don't think that they've done anything wrong. I think making content available is good. What I'm just getting at is like one of my problems personally with when corporations, when people in the webcomic space partner with in the online digital comic space partner with the big brands like DC and stuff. I just feel like the returns are so low on like a even on just on like a value proposition because this content I just showed it available somewhere else. You know, I just showed all 7 issues of the Batman Who are available. You know, we can probably get Grimnight there too. Hey, Zengo. All of it is on a piracy site. Why would I come here? Genuine question. It's not even like a secret piracy site. That's the #1 piracy site for traditional comics in the world. Why would I come here when that piracy site exists? It's a genuine question. Like, guys, am I tripping? Am I tripping right now? Like, real talk. Yeah, Read Comic Online is the #1 like traditional American comics piracy site in the world. It's the only one that like has stayed up. I think because it's like hosted in Russia or something stupid. It's the only one that stayed up this long. Most of them are gone. Like I just want to know if I'm tripping because like I feel like I'm criticizing and criticizing, criticizing, and not offering solutions. But the reason I'm not offering solutions is because I don't think there is a solution other than making new original content. With like maybe with the brands, maybe not, but just making really new original content, having people behind it that are likable, and attaching those people's names to the content in a really strong way. No, no. Do you think I don't know why you're apologizing for blow drying your hair? I just want people to know when I'm stupid. I wonder if they put up the Lost Media comic that I scanned the other day. Where did you put that Lost Media comic? You sent it to me. I completely forgot to like. I wanted to look into that. Can you resend that to me? By the way, I need to get on that. I mean, yeah, I agree with you. They're both aching for money right now, Django, and it might be for them to scrape some pennies. But I'm not interested as much in the DC angle. I'm just more in the like platform, like global comics angle. Let's see from Celeste. Wouldn't that require the publishers to give more attention and energy to the full creative team and not just the writer. It could, Celeste. It could require that. It could also require you to hire an outside team to pitch and make content that the publisher just signs off on. So it's one or the other, right? Um, Publisher signs off on an outside team's content, and the outside team just works, or the publisher works really hand in hand with you. It's one of the two. Webtoon, I believe, did the sign off one and not the hand in hand one for the Bat Family comic. But it's very much a up in the air kind of thing. The average Webtoon reader doesn't know big traditional comic names. Yeah, they don't. Like, I saw kids who were like surprised about the Avatar comic from Dark Horse, and I was like, that comic is like a decade old. Like, do you care about it? Global Comics needs to go ham on their marketing like Webtoon did with Customer and Ordinary. I don't disagree, but I don't know if that's going to work as hard as we think it will. Oh, Zengo, different opinion. I'm not a fan of GC partnering with them because I feel like it's cutting into visibility with indie comics. I've had to scroll down a lot to get to the indie stuff. Yeah, I think that's also a genuine angle. I think it could be taken away from visibility, and I think that sucks. That's it. I just think that kind of sucks. I think there's so many avenues for big budget content. I wonder what it's. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying, but then those teams would absolutely have to lock in their legal creative rights. They'll probably jump to other formats and platforms and not shut out potential incomes. Celeste, I hate to say this. I hate to say the most upsetting thing you're not ever gonna hear, but the most upsetting thing you're gonna hear right now, probably. They're almost always in work for hire contracts, and it's the most miserable thing. They get to come up with new ideas and new concepts and then get shut out instantly because no publisher will ever want to work with them on anything more. Like, the publisher won't never want to work with them on anything more. Like, I've had this conversation with one or two of them, and they always say yes at the beginning, and then that never comes true. Yeah, it is. It's a raw deal always. It's always a raw deal. It's always a raw deal. It's part of the reason why creators don't want to like work on that stuff anymore as much because it just feels like a really raw deal. I get to basically invent a whole bunch of new stuff, and I mean like digital focused creators. I think traditional creators don't care. That's their lives, but digital focused creators are so used to owning the whole baby. Oh yeah, I did that on purpose. I completely forgot to put chat back on. Let's put chat back on. There we are. Chat's back. Thanks for telling me. I completely forgot. I put it off because I was testing something, and then I never turned it back on. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about with this global comics thing. Maybe I'm glad I don't. I'm glad I'm not tripping. But yeah, just wanted to have that conversation. Now, can we talk about AI? Interesting thing happening over at Google.com. Alphabeti spaghetti. Google adds a switch for publishers to opt out of becoming AI training data. This feels like very much too little, too late, but at least it happened. At least it happened. I just think there's not much for me to add here. We're not going to become like a whole big tech channel or whatever. I just want you to know this is the thing. Um, there's a Google extended flag. For context, this will only really stop, I believe, Google's AI and no one else's. Just wanted you to know that. It's only really going to stop Google's AI and nobody else's AI. But I think it is still worth telling you about for the sake of it. Um, so yeah, that is the thing. That is the thing. I'm gonna like move on from that really hard because I'm not that interested. Oh, this was my stock. This was the thing I had on stock and stuff, and Webtoon Entertainment's um employee turnover. Actually, quick thing I want to talk about with the strike. Oh, OpenAI and Claude have a similar tag you can add to the robust.txt file. That is really cool to know. Thanks a lot, Danny. Yeah, you're relying on them to be honest, because they could just be lying to you. They could just like turn it off and not tell a single soul, and we would never know because they're not legally audited, which they should be. They should be regularly, legally, technically audited on a quarterly basis. because they're working with really dangerous software, depending on your perspective on AI. So I think that's really sad, especially because like, okay, I'm gonna like have like a really small, really small tangent, 30 seconds, no, 2 minutes. Have you ever like Googled random things? I don't know how many of you are like really bored and nerdy, but sometimes I Google random strings of characters just to see what comes up. Sometimes I write the word CIA in it and stuff like that. And sometimes I just write random hospital names into Google, and I write like random people's names into Google, and I write like records and stuff. The reason I started doing this is very complicated, but what matters is when I started doing this, and till this day, sometimes I'll Google stuff and find like some data broker or some hospital or whatever has exposed a part of their data server to the wide web, maybe on purpose, maybe by accident. I don't know. But sometimes you like randomly Google that stuff. You randomly Google that stuff and you just find somebody's like birth certificate or medical document, or like one time I found these FBI training docs years ago, and these weren't like fake; these are official. It was like FBI.gov. Okay, I find these like FBI training docs full of like people, like not confidential information clearly, but like it's their information. Like it's. I don't think they really care if it's public, but I don't think they intended for it to be public like that, right? Like these were none of this. I'm not saying like I found like crazy secret stuff. It's just there's a lot of things on the internet that are public because of negligence, not because or because of yeah, mostly because of negligence. And so if you just scrape everything, there's like a 99% chance you just steal someone's medical data. I think that's nuts. Like I think that's insane. Uh, take care, Salah. I know these platforms fill their homepage with sponsor stuff because of business stuff, but it's kind of bothering me that in GC's current state, the latest update row is on the 34th. What do you mean? 1 second. Wait. Oh, you mean on the homepage? No, I think you mean. I'm so confused. What do you mean? I'm so sorry. Okay. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Oh, okay. Some of these are indies. I should say I curated some of these with my then boss, so I find it very hard to criticize this because I tried to get as much indie stuff as I could, but I didn't curate all of these, so I will let him take the blame if that's not true. Let's see. Oh wow. Oh, oh, I curated this. I think. No, I didn't. He curated it. Oh, I think I did curate that. I don't remember. Feels like the kind of name I would have made up. Oh, this is just for this is why is my suggestion so low? Why is my suggestions like for me so low? That's weird. Feels like that should be way higher. Um oh, new creators. I haven't seen wait, did I skip past it? Like 1 second. Oh, I did. Okay, I did. Okay. I mean it's not popular publishers. Wow. Okay. I did pass it. No, that's nuts. And this isn't actually like indie like new stuff. This is like the updated stuff. This is the updated section. So this is just people who update. It doesn't actually focus on if you're like an indie person doing well or whatever. Interesting. I don't ever scroll the homepage, so I've never even thought about that experience. But that's interesting. You know what I usually do when I go on here? I go to comics and I just do this. I click on like creators or small press. That's usually one of the two I do because those are all indies. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. You're so right. I didn't think about that. But whenever I go here, I go to creators or small press, and that's usually how I search global comics. I've never tried using the homepage. But that's a really good point because a lot of people will just scroll. They'll just scroll if they can. Yeah, go back. Um, some of them probably are. This is all the creator stuff. People are trying to upload everywhere, so I'm not surprised if some of them are. See, that's interesting. I've never even thought about the fact that about the scrolling thing. No, good point. Oh, there's forums here. It's complicated. Anyway, what was I doing? What was I talking about before this? Could have forgotten. Oh yeah, the AI thing, and then I'm moving on. Anyway, so I was writing about the AI thing. They could just randomly pick out information. Now back to the Webtoon employee thing. Interesting thing that's happening this year, just around the world in a lot of employment environments. Apart from the firings that are happening, people are being fired at crazy rates. People are just quitting. A lot of people are quitting, like more than is normal. It's a notable amount of employee turnover across the world. It's. I think it's a result of two things. People are realizing that they can get better jobs because they've become more skilled, especially after COVID. People are going for more work from home jobs, as a lot of jobs are trying to pull everyone back to the office. Um, Also, a lot of people just like started businesses. Due to COVID, a lot of businesses failed and went under. A lot of big businesses lost a lot of power and money. And so a lot of smaller businesses have been rising up a little bit. And so people realize they could just like quit and do that. And so that's a very small crowd though, but those are the people right now that have quit their jobs. It's interesting. I mean, yeah, and of course it's late stage capitalism, but it is interesting it's happening now because the way it's affecting everyone. Because while companies are more than happy to get rid of staff, they're losing more staff than they ever thought they would be losing. And so a lot of them are having to do big hiring pushes. And when a lot of your staff leaves and you fire a lot of them, which leads to very low employee morale, and people are getting hired, not a lot of people are reapplying to you after you fired people. So it usually leads to you applying, getting a lot of like newbie employees or people who don't really care, very money focused, which can lead to a really bad work culture. I'm not really going to comment too deeply on that, but it does happen, and it is happening to some companies. Um, It'll be interesting to see if Webtoon suffers from that in Korea, but we'll see. We shall see. Oh, guys, speaking of AI, again, I hate to be that person. Speaking of AI again, the inaugural AI content festival has kicked off. This is an AI content festival in Korea. There's a total of 57 teams of AI content creators. This is put together by by Korea's Ministry of Culture. This was done along with this is the same group of people who did the World Webtoon Awards. We'll get back to that in a second. But you put on AI content festival because essentially Webtoon, like, okay, do you guys know what Hallyu is? Hallyu? You guys know what that is? I think I'm saying Hallyu, but I don't know if I'm saying it right. I never see the actual characters. But Hallyu, HALLYU, is the Korean is called. It just means the Korean wave. It's a Chinese word. Just means the Korean wave, right? It's essentially the word that Korea uses to talk about their media dominance for like the last 20 years or so. The AI Content Festival and the Webtoon World Webtoon Festival. We'll get to that second one in a bit. For like the last like 15, 20 years or so, Korea's big focus has basically been having massive content takeover. They want a big Korean wave across all major forms of content. They want people to be watching and consuming Korean made, Korean grown content. That's it. That's one of the big things they wanted for Webtoon was a $1 billion, billion viewer, billion subscriber Webtoon. They've been wanting that. They're fighting for that, and it's part. They wanted their first billion. They called it the first billion, 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 and they keep doing all of that. But like, what all of that content stuff means is that like for the Korean government, being a notable point of contact for every market in the world is like the most important thing for them. They don't care if it's good or bad. Right now, the Korean culture ministry just wants it to be that when people go on a conference, they go to Korea. That's it. That's all they want. When people go to a conference, when people go to an event, they go to Korea. Nowhere else. I think that's interesting because it's also why they organized the World Webtoon Awards, something that was so hard for me to even get information on because they just kept saying it was happening, but then they didn't put anything public until like the last minute, like literally in the middle of September when the event was starting. It was interesting because Solo Leveling won a big award. Of course, they did. They're a big Korean IP. They were going to win an award. Tons of people were there. I didn't get to go because of a really stupid thing involving a bunch of really stupid people. But it's okay. I didn't get to go, and I was very sad actually about that. I will try and go next year. I like going to the first year of events because they're so poorly organized. It's the best way to meet people. But I'll just try and go next year. They awarded a ton of awards to webtoon creators, almost exclusively Korean. Um, I think that was I think there was a creator for novel attempt. I think they won something. I think that's kind of it. That was the only foreign non-Korean creator to win anything. I say the creator of Solo Leveling. It was given to the comic Solo Leveling. That's it. The grand prize was given to the comic Solo Leveling. Their animated series, their video games, their billions of views online. All of that was a big reason why they got it. The original artist is cartoonist has passed away, but the team still exists. So whatever. Um, yeah, that's kind of really I want to talk about that bit. It's going to be fun to see how many different markets Korea tries to put themselves in the face of. I'm not that interested in most of them, but I will like to go to more Webtoon events as time allows. Anyway, next thing. Can we talk a little bit about logos? So, guys, this is IDW. Um, this is IDW. I don't remember what IDW means again. I think it was like, God, what did IDW comics mean? Idea and Design Works. That's what it was. Idea and Design Works. Just looked it up. Right? This is Idea and Design Works comics. IDW comics. They're like a pretty notable comic company. I think their big IP right now is Sonic. I think that's their huge IP. They have Sonic, and I believe they may also have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I believe so. I may be wrong about that second one, but they do definitely have Sonic, and they're the big Sonic comic company. Anyway, IDW recently changed their logo, guys. Oh, they have Transformers. They have Transformers, don't they? Yeah. IDW. Am I doing a live interview with the Fable people? I will do that. Yes. IDW recently had a logo change, a big logo change. Guys, tell me what you think. This is the new IDW logo. What do you all think? This is the old IDW logo. I think it's something like, yeah, this is it. This is it. IDW Publishing, like that. It's in the corner, but yeah. This is the old IDW logo. This is the new IDW logo. It's very DC. Can I copy your homework? So modern, so fresh. Thank you, Requiem, for finally giving me a valuable opinion. Slightly less basic is such a such a mean thing to say. Hey, ephemerals, are you here? I know you don't care. I know you don't care. But I need you to give me your deep artistic opinion on this logo change. Um, I feel like you have something very mean to say, and I want to hear it. um, Investigation, discovery, comics, and entertainment. Comics and entertainment. Double D. Okay. Nicholas Bird is UD. No, yeah, UD. Um, Wait, Adorable IDW is basically on its last legs. What do you mean? What's happening? What's happening over at I forget what IDW means. Something in design works. I would love to talk to some IDW employees. Ooh, no, I did hear about the layoffs, but I didn't know it was getting this bad. Ooh, can you like give me an email, Adora Burb? I would love to literally just I would be very happy to do like a straight up, you know, blacked out curtain style interview, with a voice changer and everything. I would love to do that. Oh, you suck. Ugh, why don't you give me names and emails? You're the worst. That's a lie. You're actually the best. Adora Burb is my favorite journalist. How could you do that to me? So rude. But anyway, this is the new logo change. I hope you all like it. I hope you all enjoy it as IDW spirals into the end, and we may have another Aftershock comics on our hands. You cannot use half the letter to make the other half. You know what bothers me about this logo redesign is it probably cost 10 grand minimum. Like logo redesigns cost a minimum of 10 grand for corporate, right? Including all rights taken away for the corporation to use as they please. 10 grand. They need to get their money back. It's like 10 grand plus. Like when they announced the redesign during NYCC, myself and literally all the comic book staff I was with were like, "Oh, ooh, dude, oh, brother, ooh." Did they consult any consumers in a focus group? What's worse is there's probably a better logo on the cutting room floor in the bin. The thing is they didn't need a logo change. Okay, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about my experience working at um working at a game company, right? Uh and I'm talking about the experience working at a game company because I want to talk about marketing. I want to talk about what I learned from the guy who I worked with there in marketing. So the guy I worked in marketing was the chief marketing officer of this indie studio that basically focused on Nintendo Switch games. But he had worked at marketing at other companies for a couple of years, right? And one of the things he told me was he said to me, "There's only two times companies change logos." I think he was being very hyperbolic, but we'll take it on with him. Two times companies change logos. One, when the chief marketing officer changes, because he uses a logo change to signify his era, his or her era, right? Or their era. They change the logo and then they'd be like, "This is when I was at the company, when the logo was like this." So that's incident one when the logo redesign happens. Incidents two, when a logo redesign happens, is when a company significantly changes its brand perspective. And he said it like that because it's a very vague phrasing, but he proceeded to then go on and be like, what I mean by that is sometimes a company realizes that their old branding doesn't work for the things they want to do. And an example I can give you guys is Ninja. Ninja changed his logo recently from his old like black on blue logo to a more playful yellow logo. It was meant to signify him easing off the hardcore gaming and becoming more of like, you know, a content guy and not like a hardcore FPS streamer with skills. That's the idea, right? That's the idea. The idea is that like you're changing your brand like identity on an individual customer engagement basis. So that's like one version of it, right? The other version of it is the company's dying. The company is like killing itself, and they're doing a last minute brand redesign to kind of signify a new era, to get employees together, to get people together, to kind of like, there's something Elon Musk said with the worst quote I could ever put, where it was like, it's time for the hardworking era of Twitter, and then he changed the logo to X, like literally like that, literally like that. Okay, literally exactly what I just said. Um, so it's going to be interesting to see which one of these it is. From what Adorable is saying, we're definitely in the death knell of a company, but who knows? They could recover. Lots of companies recover in the death knell. It's not impossible. Um, the death spiral is an escapable spiral. It always is. It's too convoluted. You want new customers to know the name of your company. No one's going to know how to read this. So, Tate, this is an interesting thing. Sometimes companies do this knowing that they don't care about new customers. It's all about making sure existing customers become happy enough to keep them afloat again. So, I'm not saying it's a good strategy. I'm just saying it's a strategy. Because what happens if if the company like picks itself up with a terrible logo like this, is they get to basically say that all the actions that led up to this were part of the company becoming a more stable environment. So do remember that. I think this logo is hideous and ugly, and I think the only way something like this would get through through corporate management is because they're incompetent. And if they're incompetent enough to let a logo that is easily misread, that barely looks like the company's name through, I think this. I don't think they're going to be able to handle anything else. It's a hideous logo. It doesn't really do anything for their branding. It doesn't make them more engaging for young people. They should just make better content. That's it. If they went digital, I'm sure IDW could have pulled something together. When Webcomics Hub getting its rebrand logo, it already has. This is the current Webcomics Hub logo is the rebrand. We're not changing logos ever again in my life. I have sub logos for all the different things I want to do, and then that's it. There's one main logo, there's a couple sub logos, and that's it. We will never change logos again. I don't care about rule of threes. You can rule your anyway. Yeah, so no logo change ever for me. Ever. Maybe if they made Mr. Beast Nene with Skibidi Toilet and Shadow the Hedgehog, then young people would read their comics more. You're right, but I think they would need to get a Rizzler over to like mog on one of their characters. He needs to like literally engage in a mog off with one of their characters and show people how based he is. Because once he does that, he shows people how he's looks maxing. I think over like a character over one of their main characters who's got that Sigma chin and he's on his grind set. I think fundamentally he could change the company's trajectory massively. If I said that statement to a executive, I think he would die. I just go up to him and be like, Optimus Prime needs to start mewing. Excuse me. Sometimes I say stuff like this, and I know that somebody's listening to the stream later. Which, by the way, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the stream. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Liking really helps. Commenting really helps. Of course, sharing also helps a ton more than you think it does. And of course, subscribe to the channel so that I can actually give you content. Anyway, um, but like whenever if you're on Twitch, go over to YouTube and like, or else I'll cry. That's like what I need you to do. Just stop whatever you're doing, scroll down to the like button, and hit that like button. Every time I do it, the likes on the stream go up like a lot more than I ever think they will, and it scares the hell out of me. But every time I talk about it, which I like, but yeah, please like the video. Anyway, like I don't know. I think if an executive heard that, he would die. Sometimes I forget. It's crazy. You know, YouTube straight up told me that. Nuts. Oh. I never do it at the beginning because it feels like such a cop out. I don't do it at the end because this is like a 2 hour live stream. Like, why would I put this at the end? Anyway, that's what I want to talk about the IDW thing. Also, Celeste, you were like, what language am I speaking? The language of the youth. The youth speak like that now. Okay? Now be careful before I get a 7 year old boy to like show you to like mog on you in public and explain to you why he's got more looks max than you. He's more looks max than you are. Yeah, the youth. Whenever I do that, I lose me viewers as well. I should stop talking like that. Anyway, more importantly, big news, everyone. Okay, Futurama. Big news, everyone. NYCC just announced the beginning after the end anime to hit Crunchyroll this year, and this is the most interesting thing to me. This is the most interesting thing to me because like I knew this was gonna happen. I knew this was gonna happen eventually. The beginning after the end is probably the biggest skyrocketing IP in English speaking market ever. Like in terms of online comic content. Because it goes from a novel to a comic to an animation in the time that most people barely get a complete run of their comic done. It's insanely skyrocketing. It's moving at the speed of light. You know, this is a big win for Tapas right now. This is a huge win for Tapas. The beginning, T-Bait is huge. T-Bait is currently being compared a lot in the manga community to Mushoku Tensei, which I think is what it's called. The comic about a kid called Rudius, which I haven't really read more than a bit. People compare T-Bait to that manga a lot in the community. There's a lot of conversation about that. And so I think it really hit at the right time, right place. Interesting characters, very different look. The art in beginning after the end, I think, is complicated because sometimes it's amazing and sometimes it's awful, which is nobody's fault. It's just the nature of making a very long IP. You will end up making really good work sometimes and then skimping out on work the other times. It's just the way it is. Um, but it is just kind of a roller coaster, and like manga often doesn't go through that because it has a bit of a longer lead time, and you know just has a little bit more time and a few pages. So I'm surprised to find the manga audience drifting to this as much as they have. But despite the fact that Tapas spent almost all their time focusing, from what I understand, focusing really heavily on China, Tibet in the US and a lot of the US IPs are doing amazingly well. And so, we might be in the middle of a paradigm shift. I mean, I said we might be in the middle. We are in the middle of a comic paradigm shift, right? The next couple of years, 2, maybe 4 years of content, I think is really going to determine which comic company comes out on top. What is the model that people want to adopt as their new model? How do people feel going forward about web comics and how they want to be producing and having their readers consuming them? So yeah, that's gonna be super fun to see. I'm definitely gonna be watching the anime, and this is gonna join the other reviews that I've written because I wrote a review on a few other web comics turned manga, a few other web comics turned anime that I just never put out, but I should just get on them. That way, when this comes out, I have stuff ready. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this really big. I rock with it tough. How does Tapas model differ from Webtoon? It kind of does in a few ways. Tapas has a lot more of an allowing system for getting into their payment program, where they provide you with a regularized ish amount of pay. Tapas is more willing to develop content that they don't fully own. Tapas is a lot more spends a lot less money. They spend a lot less money, but they do that because whenever they do spend money, they really like dial in on you, and they give you every chance in the world to succeed, but also every chance in the world to hang yourself with rope. That's like their. That's like their on a spiritual level. That's what their model differences are, in my opinion. Um, we are in a shift, and I did tell Heidi this, but in NYCC, it's surprising to see Korean comics get more boots in NYCC than in previous years. Even Webtoon had two boots. K comics, no, there's more K comics. There's more web comics. The question really is here, Dora Burb, where will people choose to be? Because like readers have value, etc., but people also have desires, wants, and control, and desires and wants for things like control and money, right? And those things are valuable to creators in different amounts. And so we're gonna see a very interesting dichotomy, especially if something interesting comes up on the horizon that finds a way to mix the current model of website webcomic with the platform model of website webcomic and make it all mobile accessible. I think if someone could really do that, someone could really hone into that, that's going to be huge. And by someone, I mean me, because I've been writing about it for like, I've been writing a doc about that for like 2 years. So, but, but yeah, if Tapas becomes top dog, that would be nuts. Oh, that'd be crazy. What annoys me about it is it'd be funny. It'd be funny. But Tapas just can't because they broke. They don't got that bread. And Daddy Cacao is not giving people that money. Is not letting people get that paper. It just is the way it is, you know? Oh, quick. Can we take a quick ad break? A quick ad break. My developer, one of the developers I work with on, and by ad break, I mean ad break for me. So you guys know I've been working on a data app with my developer friends. We've been having a great time. Um, one of the things that we've ended up working on, and I haven't talked about it, is that we now are working on Comment Wizard. We've been working on Comment Wizard since about the middle of this year, a little bit earlier. Um, Freya, the creator of Comment Wizard, is somewhat involved, but we're working on it with her blessing as well. And we're making improvements and we're working on it and doing cool stuff with it. And I just thought it'd be really fun to show you, maybe. I know the developer will get a little angry with me, but I just wanted to show you some just a quick brief glimpse at the kind of thing we're thinking about. We're doing with Comma Wizard. We're thinking about an email layout, etc., etc. I can't show you more because we're still working on it. It's still in beta, but I thought it'd be cool for you guys to see that it is being worked on. Improvements are being added. We're looking at a different kind of Comma Wizard. Maybe. When nothing is set in stone, this design could be scrapped at any time. But we're talking about it. Anyway, I, I just show things sometimes for like 30 seconds. I explain nothing. 2 YouTube people left because I showed it and I took it away. Guys, listen, I'm sorry. Come back, YouTube viewers. Don't leave me just because I take content away from you. Oh well, they're not here to hear me, so why am I complaining? Um, but yeah, no, we're talking about it. There's a lot of ideas planned for Comma Wizard for the data project, and for more tools. So I'm looking forward to what that's going to become in the coming year. End of this year, we might be able to launch an open beta of some of this by end of this year, which will be so cool, incredibly cool. Anyway, last thing, I need help because I don't know what this is about. That's why I'm asking about it. That's the main reason I'm posting this here, is that I have not been able to determine if I should care about this or not. So I was linked this Blue Sky account by somebody. Actually by 2 somebodies, like almost 2 or 3 somebodies linked me this Blue Sky account. Which, by the way, if you don't know, I have a Blue Sky account. You can follow me on Blue Sky at webcomicshub.co.uk. Share with your friends, share with your family. Um, God, I hate Blue Sky. I clicked on a different thing and it won't take me back now. Oh my God, I hate Blue Sky so much. Please just take me back to what I clicked on. Anyway, so I own this creator's account, and basically, from what I understand, they had a falling out with Hiveworks. I don't understand what happened. I don't understand why this is a big deal. And if somebody knows, I'm super happy to have someone come and explain it to me on a call right now on stream. I want to know. I want to understand what happened here because it seems very important to people. Uh, and I can try figuring it out right now, but it just didn't on my radar as like important enough. If I have to do the work, I will though. Okay, you're drinking tea out of your cat mug. All I understand is they had a falling out with they had a big falling out with Hiveworks. Oh, she was there. They were leaving Hiveworks. I don't even know why they were leaving. Like I have no idea why they were leaving. But they had a ton of complications. Their art was still in ads. Um, they couldn't move their 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 warehoused books quickly enough, or even and so they just had a bunch of their own books that they had to sell in Hiveworks's warehouse. And it was really hard to get like information about this on accurate inventory. There was a lot of unprofessionalism in communication. Um, it just wasn't a good time. Like the drama and it was just a lot of poorly timed events on Hiveworks' end, coinciding with this event with this creator. Um, I've tried reading through this, but I find it so. Can I be honest? I find it so boring. But the one thing I've been able to grasp from this is that Hiveworks is just not very. It's not like the best organized, but that's I don't know. Like most of this just seemed like random missteps that were being taken a little too far. Like the offboarding that they had shouldn't have taken as long as it did. Um, they had their offboarding took a very long amount of time. It should always be done as soon as possible. But other than that, it just seems like random missteps by a couple employees. Not a big deal. Am I crazy? Speak to work. Shut up. Whoever the Beehive comment is stupid. I don't know. I just don't get it. Not much of her issue. It's because Meg is a bit more popular. So we're hearing about them being like this on a larger scale, kind of open folks' eyes to Hiveworks. But Hiveworks isn't bad. Like this is the thing. This is the thing. Hiveworks isn't bad. This everything that she's talking about, from what I've seen, is just like minor incompetence. Like don't get me wrong. It's repeated minor incompetence happening to one person, but it happens. Like it just does. Even a well-oiled machine runs worse than this. Like she got a pallet count, she got everything that she asked them for, she got it. You know, like I don't know, I don't know, I don't understand. Like yeah, like their client, like they need a HR person. Likely, they probably have nobody who's good at client treatment. Um, it's probably someone who isn't good at client treatment, but like that's it. I guess. I mean, I don't know if they ended it or whatever. It just feels like a very poorly run company. But like that happens. We all have bad seasons. This is like I don't think everyone should like not work with them. HyperX to me is still one of the better options until I make my own company, and then you all need to work with me, and then you all need to work with me, and then make me billions of dollars. Well, comics make hundreds of dollars on a good day. Um, make it then. Damn, that's a threat. What should I call it? Okay, real talk. Okay, okay. This is a joke, to be clear. But what would you name a comic platform? Like everyone in the chat, I need your thoughts. Just come up with a comic platform name. Don't worry about the theme or anything. It's a new comic collective slash platform. Give it a name. The Pod. Panels. No, just get Celeste. It's fine if it's bad. Just give it a name. I'm not gonna use any of these names, by the way. Webtoon with two zeros. Geek Spread. Tunes with a fire emoji and a lightning emoji. Okay, that was a terrible name. It's fine. Bad names are fine. Bad names are fine. Companel. Fire and lightning bolt are mandatory. So they gotta be like in the legal filing. When I write the name down, I gotta draw. I gotta draw the fire. I gotta draw the lightning bolt. Name it Webcomics Hub. That'd be such a bad name. I think it's a bad name for this channel. I just didn't change it because it used to be Webtoon Hub, and I just got Comics Town. I don't know. I can't. Geeks Ruz with a Z. Oh, you mean? Oh, okay. You can't come up with a name. Oh no. Web Panel TM. Like, I keep thinking about what a good comic platform name would be. I think one I came up with was like Loaf Webcomics app. Get out of here, Danny. What the hell? What what the hell is that? Don't you name that Chinese company in this house after they stiff their employees? I would yell at you, but I need to be quiet because family's in the house. Yeah, we are us. There's literally one called Boys Love, so I guess that exists. Panels for pain. Oh, no. I remember when I wanted to make comic reviews, I just named it Toons Comic Club. Don't know if I'm keeping. That's a crazy. That's a crazy name to get, to be honest. What if you just called it like Geek Boy? Stop putting geek in the name of the comic company. You can't name all of them geek something. You want to vote on these? You want to vote on these? Anything would be better than tapas. You guys are insane. Anyway, okay, we're gonna do a straw poll because I'm not having you guys. Okay, this is like the worst straw poll website. Where's the one the Twitch streamers use? Do I just not? Is that one just not exist anymore? The OG straw poll. I guess this is it. Um, Smack Jeeves 2. Okay, single choice. New comic platform name. Um, um, Strip Club. Panella Bread. Comic Town. Smack Jeeves 2. Okay, let's see what's a good one. Hot Panels. One of your names was just like Web Ring or something. Terrible name. Okay, I got like 8 of them. No thanks. Okay, let's do a straw poll. Let's do a straw poll. I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna post it in the YouTube chat and then in the Twitch chat. Let's do a straw poll right now. I want to know. I want to know what society thinks. Who's voting for Panella Bread? You're an animal. What do you mean? Jeeves Library. Guys, I'm begging you. It can't be. It can't be a sweep for that one. Not that one on our family friendly Christian Christian comic website. Like that would be so bad. Comic Town got one vote. Uh, Panella win. It's not a Panella bread win. If CEX can do it, so can we. CEX is called the Computer Exchange, dude. It's called the Computer Exchange. Give them a bit of credit. Give them like a little bit of credit, you know? Like they didn't just like put lewd word. By the way, if you just got into chat, you should probably try filling out that straw poll that's there. It should be in the Twitch chat and the YouTube chat. This is so dumb. I mean, okay, I'm gonna close it now. I think everyone's voted. I mean, really, really. I guess we have a new name. Whenever I talk about a generic platform, I'm going to use this name, but I can't use it now. Sequential Transformation Realistic Internet Panels Club. Hey, Thomas. Hello. The people have spoken. This will be the new comic platform name that we have chosen. Look, Burb, if you didn't want any of these, you should have voted. Okay, this is what's wrong with people like you who don't vote at the polls. You should Pokemon go to the polls, bro. The top, we were just. I literally just asked people name ideas for a random comic platform name. Just random ideas. That's where we're at. We're like almost at the end. I just wanted. We talked about a lot of stuff, so if you rewind, you can hear all of it. We talked about Global Comics' DC deal. We talked about Naver employees going on Webtoon employees going on strike. We talked about NYCC announcements. Actually, there's one last thing I want to talk about. Pokemon Go reads my comic. Shut up. I'm gonna pin you. That's a pin of shame. Shame. And I'm gonna talk about one last thing. I met the CEO of Nami Komi at MCM. I met him and I met another guy, Narcus. Two really cool. They're really cool to start off. I want to say, really cool people, very fun, very nice, very smart. And I don't say that because they listen to this podcast, which they do. Yeah, they did talk to me about that. They talked to me about everything. They directly spoke to me. Somebody also talked to me after I made fun of their comic 2 years ago when I did the Webtoon call to action video, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you did." Dude, that was okay. I just want to say this. I don't want to be ungrateful. I'm very happy that people know what I do and like what I do and everything. I really am. I really, really, really am. People. I really am happy that people care. Um, it's just I'm gonna be so real with you. When people notice me, it really throws me off, and I am not prepared for that. That's it. I'm not important or anything, but it does freak me out like crazy. Also, Namikomi, they're a US based company, but I think the guys who were there live in the UK. They weren't like at MCM as a thing. They were just hanging out. So met them on the way. Um, I'm pretty noticeable. They don't know what I look like, Kylie, but they always recognize me from my voice. Literally, the Namikomi guys are like, "Who wouldn't recognize your voice and your distinctive laugh?" Which I resent that. My laugh is generic. Anyway, anyway, um, I spoke to them, the Namikomi guys, and they told me a little bit more about what the company's goals are. They explained to me a little bit more about their ties with manga decks, and it's really changed a lot of my perspective on them. I thought it'd be worth talking about a little bit. I'm not going to talk about specifics of what we spoke about because that was an all entirely off the record conversation. But I'm going to talk about how my opinion has changed. Um, my previous opinion on Namikomi is it's a company with seemingly no real direction that I can discern, just trying to survive in a very crowded in a moderately crowded market, and not making any of the moves I would consider big big directional moves towards um, becoming the number one company, right? And I spoke to them, and it really dawned on me how much their goals are very different from what I'm used to. Most CEOs talk to me about their growth strategy. Oh, this is our strategy to get more readers, get more creators, blah blah blah. And shut up, geek boy, stop telling them the truth. Anyway, and like the Nami Komi guys are so focused on the creator aspect. Like it's crazy how much of, and talk is cheap, right? Talk is cheap, but these guys were so mentally focused, even during conversation, on doing things that made creators have a better experience with producing and selling content. That was it. That was everything. And I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Um, oh, they didn't take down the manga decks page, the manga decks monetary page. They didn't take it down because of me. Thank God. I knew that. I was pretty sure, but still, they took it down because somebody sent them a false claim through an email, pretending to be a big company. But I can't talk more about that. But yeah, it wasn't me. Um, yeah, they're super helpful. Everyone I know said that they're very helpful and very lovely and they're very nice. So like it's not like I didn't believe they weren't nice. My thing is just it was more about their corporate goals because the thing at the end of the day for me is like corporations are always nice when they want your time and effort for free. When people want things from you for free, they're nice to you, they're lovely, they're everything because they want to collect. And when they've collected, when they've made bank, they run away and they look at you like you're dirt, right? A recent interaction somebody told me about with a web comic creator at NYCC was very much that person acting in this manner. This is a person who I know has gone through the trouble of kissing as much butt as possible to get to where he's at. And then when he got there, he decided because he no longer needed to, or because this person wasn't prominent enough that he thought he had to kiss butt, he decided to be really mean. So I'm very used to that being the way this industry works on a very top level. And so talking to a company cohort that has got a very different perspective was interesting. Listen, I don't. Do I know if they're gonna be if they can be creator focused and survive? I'll probably feel less weird about the manga dex ties. Oh, I can actually explain that one. They just hired a bunch of people from there. That's it. Because they got to talking with manga dex really early on in their development cycle, they hired a lot of people from manga dex, and they hired the people that were there that did good work. And like when you hire developers from a bunch of people from another company, they come with a very similar set of design principles. And that's it. That's why Namikomi has a very similar set of design principles. But it's all from the dome, It's all internally owned code. So like, all the presumptions are wrong, which is good. Um, but I think it's also good in understanding that like their survival is going to be very difficult. The Dynamic Comedy Founder is very weird from the brief convos he's had with me. He's not. He's just. Here's what I could say about Tony. He's a quiet guy who's very business minded. That's it. From talking to both him and Nakis, very quiet guys, very business minded. Their mental is so focused on not business minded. They're very work minded. Like if you try to talk to them about random stuff, they may not be as up for it, but like unless they really like you, I think. But like when it comes to talking about work, the thing that they've thrown their whole persons into, namely Namikomi and the company itself, like, you know, they start they're gonna talk to it. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna I can't believe I said that. Yeah, chat's gonna crucify me because I just said it's actually Jover for me. It's Jover for me as a person. Um, Industry trends they like to talk about. They're just a very different. They're just a very different kind of group of people. Every finger in the room is pointing at me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say talk to her. I'm sorry. She's like a secret IDF girl or whatever. I just wanted to say talk to her because I thought it was funny. Guys, please. But no, like they're very industry minded. I think it was great talking to Tony and talking about like industry movement and behavior. His mental, the way he processes information is so high level. Like, look, I spend so much time in this industry. I read so many documents. I'm so blah blah blah. Whenever I talk to somebody and they can't talk on my level, it can be very frustrating when it comes to comics. So what I've done is all of my friends get classes on a regular basis so they can be as good as me. So that I can talk to them. So I can talk to them about that. Like I do that all the time. But I spoke to Tony, first conversation I've ever had with the guy, really. And like, we were in the mental space of like two people with a lot of information processing it and like exchanging it, and we had different perspectives and stuff, and that was great. And it was great to learn from him. It was good. um they bumped some of the Namikoom stuff on Manga Dex. My comic has been put there. I think that relationship with Manga Dex is um not as strong as it used to be. I don't think it's like negative. I just think it just isn't as strong as it used to be. So I don't know. Are these classes offered online? No, because I'm really bad at getting stuff to content to teach with, especially because it's like so specific. But eventually, when I can, it's hard to make that stuff because I need a lot of help to do it. I'm super bad at it. I had like a whole project planned with one also because I like working on my projects with one or two people because I have like deep big visions about them, and so I wanted to work on like an educational thing with one person, and let's just say they flaked on me like a dozen times, but I think they're not gonna flake on me again. The Nami Komi model, I do not think is I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think it's sustainable. They have some plans that they talk to me about. I can't really share, but I think they have long-term plans that could prove sustainability, and they do have long-term goals that make sense. But their main thing that they want to do is they really want people to understand that the value proposition of a platform that puts individual creators first is so high, right? Like as an indie creator, this may not have all the readers, but really at the end of the day, as a reader, as a creator, you control the readers. You're in a really interesting market, and this is true on all of them, but you're in a really interesting market where all the platforms offer very little. And so you need to be looking out for yourself as a creator based on who will support you the best long term, right? And when you think about that, sustainability, sustainability for you as a creator isn't just about getting views. It's about who's going to have your back for the longest time. And so I think for creators, we need to start having that consideration of like, where do we want to be that will support us the most, and just move, like bite the bullet. Because if enough creators move, readers move. And if enough creators move in an obvious way, one of the things creators do is they go to other platforms and they're trying to see the other platform will provide them readers. But really, I think you should go to the other platform, go back to your previous platform, and advertise that you're on the other platform. Like, really try and see what a dedicated amount of time on another platform will do for you. Go to like Smack Chiefs 2 or whatever, go on there, upload on there, and be like, it's going to be my new primary platform for the next 3 months. And then go to your main platform that you previously used and be like, hey, episodes are going to be 1 week earlier on Smack Chiefs 2. And just see what happens. See if it moves the needle a little bit. See if it messes with the numbers. Because if it does, Smack Chiefs 2 might be a worthwhile place because it just takes a few more people like you to get more people reading on Smack Chiefs 2. Also, I should put in Namikomi's web app, no, sorry, web app, mobile app has come a long way. Um, It's come a very long way. As a big hater of their app previously, it's no longer bad. It's not as good as I want it to be, and I told it to their faces. They know this, but it's no longer bad because God, the app used to be bad. But in fairness, it wasn't beta, it wasn't closed beta, so I'm not really like on their case about it. Um, the subscription feature on their platform is a very interesting move, but they didn't add it because it makes them the most money. They added it because it was the most creator friendly. Truly, a platform wide subscription is the most valuable for them. But I don't know. Classes, random reduces classes. Yeah, classes. I'm not gonna expand any more on classes, but there will be classes. There will be classes. That's all I have to say. No, the truth is, where creators go, readers follow is a true thing. It's always been true. Because at the end of the day, viewers, content consumers have a stronger relationship with you as a creator than they do with the platform. You can look on Webtoon, like guys, Webtoon did a 10-year anniversary. People, the top three comments were, "Oh wow, charging us so you can celebrate." And then I think the second of the top three comments was, "Pay your creators better." The readers care. I think it's a lie to think that they don't. Especially who uses it, it brings me a decent amount of subscribers, and that's also very motivating. Yeah, Namikomi is really good at getting you that engagement. I will say this. Um, Namikomi really wants to get you that engagement. Danny says, is a subscription that is tied to one platform more creator friendly than Patreon? Yes and no. It really does depend, Danny, because Patreon isn't creator friendly at all. I'm not saying it like Namikomi is inherently better. It's just Patreon isn't creator friendly, so it's kind of like a combination of it's the devil. It's the not the devil you don't know. It's a little bit of the what you call it, the lesser evil right now, right? I know what you mean by it being tied to one platform, but like if we're really talking about it like that, then I should have just okay. I'm gonna just tell you guys. We have code. We have code for a fully self-hostable Patreon alternative. We have worked on it. We have talked about it. We did all the design work. It literally just looks like Patreon. It looks like older Patreon, not newer Patreon, but it does look like Patreon. It's fully self-hosted. And we didn't release it because like at the end of the day, the fundamental truth is the only good Patreon is a Patreon that is monitored. That's it. It doesn't matter how we feel about any other Patreon on Namikomi. The only good Patreon system is one that's monitored. The reason we didn't release ours is because the reality of having a fully self-hosted Patreon system is that it's going to be used by Nazis. Like I need you to understand this. We if the reason we haven't released a fully self-hosted Patreon thing is because it's going to be used by Nazis. We found a way to even put in a fee so that we get paid like 1% or something of all fees. You guys would have been paying like maybe a 4% fee on all transactions, tops, which is nothing, right? Patreon takes more money than that. 4% total fee, including our fee. We were going to do that, and it's like it's yeah, that's the thing. If you make a fully self-hosted Patreon, it's going to be full of Nazis. It's going to be used by everybody, by people who are awesome and lovely to straight up Nazis to like worse people than that. And I just wasn't. None of us were comfortable. None of us were okay with the idea of a thing that we made being used by Nazis. So the only good Patreon is a Patreon that's monitored. And like, yeah, they're all gonna come with baggage, but that's the only good Patreon. I'm not sure about creator friendly, but from a creator UI perspective, I use my Patreon to show chapters early and prefer to do that all on one site. I think the reader UX is better. I agree. YouTube literally has a system like that. The member system on YouTube is great. I don't. I we have a like if you want to support the channel, a great way to support the channel is to be a member or join the Patreon. Patreon is better, but being a member also works because you get videos early too. I'm just like you do get videos early. Patrons, I say patrons, members do get that, so that is always an option. Um, But like, and I think if you subscribe on Twitch, what do you get on Twitch? Not much. Should probably put something on Twitch. Anyway, I'm like the worst. Really shut up. Uh, yeah, like it's just having everything all in one place is really helpful, even if it negatively affects you. And another part of having everything on one platform, Danny, is culture. It's culture. So like, I want to talk a little bit about Twitch. Twitch has like, in my opinion, the best culture, the best culture in the entire world. It's literally part of Twitch culture to give money away to a creator. Engaging with the community means being comfortable with giving away money to support a creator you like, right? Doing new and innovative things on live stream is already hard. So supporting a creator being built into the culture is awesome. But Twitch could only make that culture by making all of its payment and monetary services dependent on on Twitch. Most creators depend on Twitch subs, Twitch bits. They just do. Twitch has other means now. I think there's like two more things you can do. There's bits, there's subs, there's something else. Twitch isn't a YouTuber retirement home. YouTube is a Twitch streamer retirement home. I hate to say it. YouTuber is a Twitch streamer retirement home. Twitch is its own culture, its own place. It's so crazy. Yeah, no, because it's live, but it's not just because it's live, Thomas. You build that like building a lot of Twitch culture is very current. So as someone who's been around for most of Twitch's like existence and was on Twitch since around Justin TV to the Twitch change, like Justin TV and Twitch just built a really strong culture around supporting creators because it was every time a community event would happen, they would tie that to some community engagement moment, and then they would tie that community engagement moment to money, and so it kind of reinforced in the average Twitch viewer's head that a great way to engage with the community is to give money. That was it. It was just a very incredibly powerful, intelligent marketing campaign that took years to develop and has led to the strongest culture online. We don't have that on YouTube, and I turn on both Twitch and YouTube. We YouTube doesn't have that, and a lot of companies don't have that. But the way you get that is by tying a lot of your performance and monetary systems to your platform. And so, if Namikomi could build that kind of culture with their payment system tied to the platform, I think you could lead to some interesting movements for the potential communities on there. I personally think Patreon is creator friendly because you aren't tied to one platform. If the platform goes away, you lose all your subs. That is a serious risk to build your livelihood on. But also, if Patreon goes away, you lose all your subs. Patreon literally loses money every year, Dan. They don't make a profit, and they're subject to the whims of Apple, Google, basically anybody. That's why I'm saying the only true Patreon alternative is a completely like the only true like the only truly free Patreon is a truly self-hosted Patreon, hosted on a Russian server somewhere, and it will never get taken down. Like, yeah, you're right. You can build your entire life on that one. You have about as much chance of Patreon being taken down as you have of Namikomi being taken down. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. I shouldn't say that. That's a complete lie. But they both have a chance of being taken down. Is my point. And so I don't know if like the security offered by Patreon's age is maybe clouding the view here, because I think we're putting a lot of stock in a company that regularly makes bad decisions. I don't know. You really, I mean, you know what? Yeah, no, you're right. Patreon is more likely to be a company longer than Namikomi will. That's just the way that works. If you make it past the 10-year barrier, you pretty much are guaranteed life. Most companies don't make it to the 5-year barrier, so I get it. No, no, I agree with you on that one. To be quite honest, um, I've watched Jack Conte's videos recently, and honestly, I think it changed the way I looked at Patreon in a positive way, though, with how he sees it and what he thinks it means for creators. No, Jack Conte is a look. I've been watching Jack's content for a really long time. Jack and the guy who ended up founding Nebula and all these like YouTuber turned CEOs. Um, and I was watching Hank and John Green back when they owned Subably, which ended up becoming Patreon. And like these guys all have wonderful visions and ideas of what these companies are going to become. But I need you to remember that these companies are back, like not Nebula, specifically Patreon, is backed with venture capital money. And venture capitalists don't give a crap. Cap money don't care. Investors don't care. Like if Patreon was this homegrown, you know, buddy buddy group that made basically all its money from creators and was all creator funded and was all creator run all the way to the top, you know what? Different conversation. But the Patreon we have is a VenCap company. It's got that venture capital, baby. It's got investors to pay. Like when Patreon lost money recently, Jack Conte had to go into a room and explain to investors why they didn't make a profit in the quarter. And he's probably had to do that a ton of times because Patreon doesn't really make money as far as I can tell. Like I don't think Patreon has like really runs a profit. I think it generally is at cost. At least not even if it's a profit, not a substantial profit. And I know he cares. I believe he cares. But those investors can oust him and gut the company at any time. And also he's got two masters. He's got one master and one dead weight that he really loves. He loves the dead weight. He loves the heavy anchor attached to him. He loves it. That's the creator. But at the end of the day, he's got a guy who's feeding him, and he's got an anchor attached to his leg that he truly loves. But it is an anchor. Yeah, it isn't $100 billion company. Patreon is not $100 billion company. I'm so frustrated with the fact that it took investor money because it really didn't have to. Patreon was had a good thing going. It could have stayed medium sized. It would have grown steadily, and it is still the de facto place. It did not need to be $100 billion company, but it chose to be, and that's incredibly confusing. It didn't need to grow. It didn't need to innovate. People just wanted a stable place to make cash. Creators didn't really need it to become the next biggest thing. I don't know. And it's not like they took that money and did like interesting, cool new things for creators with it. They just took it and built the platform out better. And like that's nice, but I mean like they didn't materially change a creator's life, you know? So like I don't know what it's really adding. That's a personal one though, I'm gonna be honest. The rebrand the last year was really cool in retrospect. I talked to a marketing person who explained it a little bit better to me. And it makes sense with the changes that Patreon has made because you can just buy content now on Patreon. They want Patreon to become the one stop shop for any creator. Buy merch, support the creator, everything all in one place. And I think that's really cool. They wanted to become an alternative content hosting platform. Some creators, like there's a creator I watch called Japanalysis, all he does is upload content onto Patreon, but he doesn't put it behind a paywall. He just puts it on there for stuff that just isn't YouTube safe. So you can go watch it, and you get to watch it on the Patreon, and that's nice. Some people are selling brushes on Patreon now. Some people are selling like clothes and merch. Um, People are selling access to videos, individual videos. So if they make a Patreon only video, they have like a tier where you can access it. But if the tier goes away, they have a one payment option to like access that content now that it's been gone for you. Like I just think that's nice. I think that's all really nice. One of my, I think Patreon is also very interesting for the way that like the dynamic between you and a creator is. But I don't think Namikomi can really um, remake that. But mm. I also should say that Namikomi's social push, they are big fans of it. They think it's a good thing. They think it's making moves. And if I'm being honest, I come on here more often and I see more and more likes on posts. So people are trying to use it. People are really trying to use the social platform. The question really is just seeing, um, if it gets picked up. You know, yeah. So I think there's a lot to see in the coming year. Like, yeah, just lead the platform migrations you want to see in the world. I will say my big next comic goal. I keep saying I want to make a comic platform because I think it's funny, and I do kind of want to make a platform, but not to compete with these platforms, more to be a top layer on top of these. But one of the big things I really want to do for that is I want to make a collective, and that's like my big next move. I think my big thing when I'm done with all this data is to this data project and all this, like, collecting data and getting all that stuff organized and making the multi uploader tool. The next thing is to make a collective, and then I can worry about the platform after. The platform goal isn't to compete with Webtoon. Though. I can't do that. I can't compete with any of these companies. I don't even want to. I think that's a stupid thing to do. I don't want to compete with Webtoon or Namikomi or Tapas. I think there's a better direction, but whatever. Closer to Spider Forest, closer to Hiveworks and closer to Hiveworks, really, closer to Hiveworks. I want to be able to make something where creators can get um, full marketing, as much marketing assistance as needed. Um, that can get assistance with getting things printed, can have people negotiate for on behalf of them with publishers, and can just really put them in a better position um, while they can focus on making. And the collective takes a cut of revenue earned through collective's means and maybe a membership fee, but that's it. Like, just so we can focus on doing that part. A publisher for creators, like a small time publisher for creators that is owned by the creators. There's no investment company owning it. But it also means that when the team makes decisions, it's because it benefits the creators, and it isn't just to make another dollar, right? Um, like, yeah, especially in this current era, there's a lot of smaller publishers coming out that are focused around Webtoon and webcomics, like physical print publishers that are focused around that market. And being able to sell to those people, get book deals, get print deals with them is very valuable. And while big publisher companies can be a great way to do that, I think creators advocating for themselves is probably a lot better. Being able to have like an agent publisher relationship with these smaller groups would probably be just more beneficial. And I think the power of multiple creators is necessary for that, because then creators are bargaining as a group, and everyone knows what the last person's deal was, and so nobody gets a better deal just because they came in more aggressive. If you can get a good deal for one creator, you can get a good deal for multiple creators. But it probably won't be an anybody join group. It'll probably be like a very annoying group to join. 'Cause I'm an asshole. It's because I suck. I'm sorry. I think it's just a thing that's necessary. Also, I think it's useful to have stuff like that because one of the things I've noticed, Americans told me this. Americans at conventions do not have community tables. For the Europeans out there who go to cons, did you know this? Americans don't have a community table at cons. If you don't know what a community table is, at cons in the UK at least, you can you can give your comic to a reseller whose entire job it is to go to conventions for you and sell your books for you, because they go to either run by the convention itself, or either run by the convention itself or by a third party going to the convention on behalf of artists who can't afford to go to the convention. So there acts as a community table, and you give them your books, and then they sell it to you. They sell it for you, and they give you all the revenue earned at the cons that they go to, and they also return books that aren't sold. So it's awesome because if you can go to like San Diego Comic Con, imagine somebody went on your behalf and would market each of your comics. They would take like 30 comics. They'll know everything about your comic that they need to sell it, and then and they will try and get people to show up and sell your comics for them. It's a community table. Apparently, it's not a thing because conventions in the U.S. for artist alleys, usually, which is where community tables are usually located, want you to own all your content. And so you might need like a complex rights management thing to get a table at those places. Um, but like, it's just a lot easier if you just start a mini publisher. It's just a lot faster. Start a collective, you can just go. Nobody, if they ask you why you have multiple people's books, you say, I'm a publisher. What are they going to do? Sue you? They can't. American culture is awful. Look, I'm sorry. I have nothing good to say anymore. I used to be able to say that I really love American food and I love coast to coast, and um, I like that they they got me hooked on kombucha. But really, I've come to the conclusion that there is nothing good there. The end. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Yeah, MCM doesn't have community tables, but that's just because it's hard to get into MCM. Do you know where to look for conventions in Europe? I want to attend them to sell merch. It's actually really hard. A lot of the good conventions are so Dokumi is the big one, Dokumi, and then there's Frambook. There's the Buchmesse, the Buchmesse in Germany, the Frankfurt Book Fair, and then there's Angoulême, Angoulême in France. They have a big that's a big one. Angoulême's huge. If you go to Denmark, there's J PopCon, and then there's Comic Con in May. J PopCon's in like February. Then in the UK is a lot of big ones. MCM's a big one. Um, Thought Bubble is like the big community one. You go there to network more than anything else. Um, what else is another big one in Europe? Technically, London Film and Comic Con is big, but not as much anymore. But those are the two huge ones in the UK. There's a few smaller ones around. And then if you leave that realm, I know there's one in like Eastern Europe, but I don't remember what it's called. I'm sorry. But those are the ones you want to hit, I think, in a year. Angoulême is hard to get into, but it's worth going. Just going to Angoulême, just like going to hang out. Um, Frankfurt Book Mess is more for publishers, so it's a great way to get your card out and meet people and get cards and get emails. Um, One of the things you're going to find out very quickly, Thomas, most of the events when you're a comic creator that's not very big in Europe are for clout. But JPopCon and Denmark Comic Con are for selling IP. And you should go there, sell stuff for sure. And it's really cheap. JPopCon, I think their artist alley tables are 300 kroner, so $30 for the entire weekend. Um, and they do let you sell illustrations and stuff. Um, MCM is like 200 pounds or something for the entire weekend. 150, I don't remember. Um, and Thought Bubble is like I don't remember how much that is. Someone told me, but I forgot. Someone did tell me, but I've completely forgotten. Yeah. London Book Fair isn't that big. Yeah. Yeah, MCM was 220. See, I said 200. I was close. I don't remember what Thought Bubble was. But yeah, those are the ones. Those are the big, 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 big ones. You can go to tons of really small ones. Thomas, that's also an option, and those ones are a lot harder to find because you got to look through the internet and scour. But there's a ton of really small ones. There's like one in the UK in London called SLZZF. It's run by a university. It's a really small comic fair. Like it's pretty cool. Um, if you're just looking to sell prints, and like you want to go to like illustration events and stuff, I would also look at events like Gamescom in Germany, and other events like that, because gaming events, EGX, those are also really valuable if you make gaming related art and illustrations. Draw a couple Master Chief drawings, and you can sell those. Oh yeah, Dragon Meat. Yeah, you can sell like nerdy D&D style stuff to those people. Super worth it. Yeah, I saw EGX got merged with MCM. Um, yeah, just go to stuff like that. Remember, you don't have to look for a comic fair. Look for a related event. If you're doing more anime, then you want to go to J-PopCon for sure in Denmark. You want to go to Hyper Japan in the UK. There's a big one in Germany. I forget what it's called. There's a big one in France. I forget what it's called. But yeah, there's big anime cons. If it's just anime you want to go to, damn, go to MCM. He's in France. He's in France. Go to MCM. Go to all that stuff. If it's anime you're into, just go to everything. It doesn't matter. Just pick the biggest flavor of the month. Draw a couple Mudang drawings. Draw a couple draw some Mudang. Draw some Sao. Find a couple modern anime. What's modern? Parasite Eve. um, God, I feel so old. I just said what's modern? Parasite Eve. Guys, it's over for me. I don't know. What's a modern anime? Parasite. Oh yeah, dan 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 dan. Yeah, Dungeon Meshi, dan dan. Um, God, I just sing the theme song. It's over. Look, Thomas, trust me. Draw. What's the name of the idiot blonde guy in Dungeon Meshi? What's his name again? His name is like Lyru Laios. Laios. Okay, draw Laios mogging on like Denji from Chainsaw Man. Just do it. Trust me. Just do it and trust me. This is not a joke. Just draw him like pointing at his chin and showing how it's so chiseled in front of Denji. Just do it. If you post that, it would get like 100,000 likes. No, he deserves it. It is not a joke because guys, no. I want you all to take off your like, oh, this is cringe hats for a second and be honest with me. Be honest with me. You just heard what I described. Would it get at least 1,000 likes on Twitter? Would it sell at least a couple copies? At least like a dozen copies. Be honest with yourselves and with me right now. Would that what I just described sell at least a dozen copies? It's two massive IPs doing a really stupid modern day thing, right? They're both really dumb, so it doesn't matter. You guys know that I'm right. This is like business 101 guaranteed seller. Like, don't be a hater. All right. Let Laios mog on Denji. Okay. let, him, let him put on Denji. Where's that video like a 7-year-old Japanese child mogging on Ludwig? I need to find it. Where is it? There it is. Literally, literally. Check this out. Like Ludwig is in the middle of the street in Japan with some random Japanese children. Okay, right. With Connor, they're like talking to him. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, there it is. It's like here. Look. Where is it? Yeah. He just got mugged on by a 7-year-old. I'm afraid the child has won. I'm afraid the child has won. Okay. Language barriers are meaningless. He was mogged on by a random Japanese child live on Twitch. It's over. All you need to do is draw that one time. Okay, draw that one time, Thomas, and you'll make like $1,000 minimum. You'll make like $1,000,000 if you can like really capitalize on it. I'm afraid. Is that what mogging is? Mogging just means looking better than the other person in the in a photo or something. But like there's like you can do the chin thing to point out that you are mogging on someone. You know, like that when you're doing that, you're active mogging. Like if you want to take a picture and I just look better than you, I mogged you in the picture. That's it. I hate to be that person. My favorite part of all of that is I got to explain what mogging was to people for no reason. Again, I'm cringe, but I'm free. Uh, Perfect. Anyway, that's everything for the day. I need to go to more cons. That's expensive. I'm going to Thought Bubble this year. I'm already like looking at my bank account, hating the idea of going to Thought Bubble because it's going to be so expensive. I'm only going for one day. I'm only going to be there this Saturday. I'm probably going to stay a little late and I'm going to go home. Grab poor Tate, poor Tate. Take spent 40 years on this earth, never having to understand what the hell a mog is. Not even caring what is a mog. And then he watches me come back and I show him the cursed information about what the youth are doing. Oh, by the way, I know this doesn't seem like it concerns me, but it really does. Please vote in like 2 days. Okay, if you haven't voted already, please vote. If you don't think there's any point in voting, that's fine. Still vote. Just do it for me. That'll be great. Okay, that'll be great. Just do it for me. If you're wondering who I want you to vote for, I don't care. Just vote for me. Please, just vote because I want you to vote. Thanks. This is the only influence I have to beg you. I mean, I think that's a weak sentence. People just may not want to engage with the environment that they're in because it alienates them. I think that's very valid. That's why I'm begging them to do it. That's it. I won't talk about it anymore. Every election cycle on this channel scares the hell out of me, man. Oh yeah, Thomas, there's this. Oh, you can do digital artist. You can do digital artist alleys. There's a lot of those. If you're in the furry community, there's a lot of those. A lot of those in lots of different places. If you look online, you might find one or two digital artist alleys. The Artist Alley Network Europe, oh, that's a good one. And the AAN, those are pretty really good. Really good. Um, there are some that happen in VR chat, and they do sell art. Like you do make literal money, so that's pretty fun. Yeah. I can only. All right, that's everything from me. It's late. It's my one stream in like a month. I'm super tired. Every day I go for like a 4 kilometer run. It's killing me. Um, I'm so tired. Uh, but I hope to see you guys next week. Thank you for coming to every stream. You guys are the best. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Like, like the video and share and subscribe. Okay, thank you. Bye. Did you say good night, KK tuners? Oh, tuner. Vile.